The mission of the Impacting Lives Foundation, or the IYL Foundation, is to identify exceptional, previously disadvantaged South African university students and transform them into globally minded citizens. We do that by bringing them to America to basically see civil society in America in action. The creation of IYL was really a wonderful experience. I was working at the time at Bristol Myers Squibb in Umluvon, Swaziland, and I am sitting at my computer working on something for this international AIDS initiative that I'm part of with the company, Corporate Philanthropic Initiative. And I think to myself, you know, travel has meant a lot to me. Being exposed to different cultures and my experience to see the world has made me what I am today. And wouldn't it be neat if kids of color, previously disadvantaged kids in South Africa, could have the same sort of transformational experience? So in very much sort of Jerry Maguire style, I sat down and I wrote what was my personal manifesto. And I said, at the end of the day, I want to impact young lives of people of color in South Africa. And it was my Henry Crown Fellow program that spiraled and spiraled. We did the first essay competition, and my wife, who is a so-called colored South African from just east of Johannesburg, Barbara Howard, and we did the first competition in her high school. They did not believe that they could go to America. And so when we did the first one, they did believe.
I think, to me personally, from being South African, it will always make a lasting impact on me, because it will be my way of giving back to my country, and it will be my connection to South Africa. But besides being personal, it will be a way of connecting the US and South Africa.
Now, one has to understand the legacy of apartheid. You have a generation of young people who have come through a system that did not encourage them to think out of the box, to think beyond their borders. In fact, for many, survival was simply the name of the game.
No running water, no sewage facilities. And yet, the kids were sent to school every day. The odds were so stacked against them, and yet that didn't bother them one bit. They just did it.
It's quite a creative program in the sense that it takes a mentorship model of connecting people across borders. So again, you have this filtration and exchange of knowledge from committed leaders in the US who mentor young leaders out of South Africa.
Because we are a small organization, a lot of people will say we will not make a big impact, but I think that's wrong. Sometimes you do need these small organizations, because you take one person, like Nelson Mandela, to make a change.
And ultimately, as we know, young people will eventually be the people that run the country. So they have these friendly, positive experience and relationships with Americans, and Americans see them on equal footing. But ultimately, that's going to be the sort of the wind beneath the sail that helps South Africa and eventually Africa.
My dream is, in many years to come, we have a president of South Africa. He or she is an IYL fellow, and they look back and say one of the key lessons that they learned was not to pigeonhole themselves, not to believe that because they're African, there are limitations set on what he or she can achieve, but they have a place on the global stage like all other leaders in the world.
When they look you in the eye and say, I am a different person, Dr. Howard. I am a different person. I'm a more hopeful person. I'm a more professional person. I'm a more prepared person to be a part of this cosmopolis, as it were, because I had this experience. They have been to America. They have seen this city on the hill. They understand that they have a place on the hill, and they want to bring people up with them.